Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel BS Coinswood, where we turn pocket change into pure gold, or at least enough to make your neighbors jealous. Today we're diving into a coin that looks like every other quarter you've probably ignored in your junk drawer, but believe it or not, this little silver beauty could be worth up to $1 million. $1 million for a 2003 Alabama quarter with a simple little P mint mark. That's the Philadelphia Mint for those who don't speak CoinGeek. How the heck is a 22-year-old quarter worth more than my car? Well, stick around because in the next 50 minutes, we're going to break down why this coin is special, what makes it so valuable, how to spot one, and how to avoid getting scammed by some shady buyer offering you $50 for $1 million treasure. We'll also sprinkle in some good old-fashioned humor, because if you're going to learn about coins, you might as well laugh a little along the way. And before we jump in, let me share a quick story about how I personally found a coin worth thousands. Just to show you this isn't a fairy tale, about 5 years ago, I was cleaning out my late uncle's desk. He was one of those folks who never threw away a single thing. You know the type. He had receipts from 1973, ketchup packets older than I am, and a shoebox full of coins. I almost tossed the box into the donation pile, but something made me stop. I dug through it and found a 1970 small date penny in nearly uncirculated condition. A collector later bought it from me for over $3,000. That's when I realized how much hidden treasure we all have lying around. So if you think this Alabama quarter story sounds crazy, just remember, crazier things have happened, alright? Grab yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a notepad, and let's jump into the fascinating world of the $1 million 2003 Alabama quarter. The Alabama quarter was the 22nd coin released in the 50-state quarters program. It came out in 2003 to honor Alabama's rich heritage, and it features Helen Keller sitting beside an open book, with her name in English and in Braille. Pretty cool, right? You might think it's just another commemorative coin, but here's where it gets interesting. While millions were minted, a tiny fraction of them had extremely rare errors or were struck on experimental planchets, basically, blank metal discs that weren't supposed to be used for this design. Collectors have verified and authenticated these error quarters, and a few have fetched jaw-dropping sums at auctions. One verified specimen sold for over $900,000 back in 2018. Since then, the market for rare state quarters has exploded, and today, a flawless example can be worth up to $1 million. There are a few factors that can push a humble Alabama quarter into seven-figure territory: double die obverse, where the image looks like it's got a ghostly twin off-center strikes, where the design is visibly shifted clipped planchets, where a bite-sized chunk of the coin is missing wrong metal composition, like a quarter struck on a Sacagawea dollar blank. Any of these errors, in pristine condition, send collectors into a frenzy. Even if your coin has a rare error, if it looks like it spent a few years in a vending machine, it's probably not going to break any records. The most valuable Alabama quarters are graded MS68 or higher, meaning mint state with virtually no imperfections visible under magnification. And if you find one of these coins, you can't just put it on eBay with a blurry cell phone photo and expect $1 million bid. You'll need it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Without that certification, serious collectors won't even look at it. Go grab your spare change jar. I'll wait. Look just below the word Liberty or above the date. You want a penny doubling of letters or numbers, an off-center design, weird coloring or weight, missing details or unusual shapes. If you think you found something promising, don't clean it. Seriously, cleaning a rare coin is like washing a vintage baseball card with bleach. Just put it in a soft cloth and contact a reputable grading service. Let me tell you about a guy named Rick. Rick was a retired teacher who spent his weekends going to flea markets. He bought a little box of state quarters for $20. Inside was an Alabama quarter with a dramatic double die. He sent it in for grading, and 6 months later, it sold at auction for over $700,000. I'm telling you this because it's real. Everyday people are finding these coins. The only difference between them and the rest of us is they actually bothered to look. Because these coins are so valuable, scammers love to prey on hopeful collectors. Never buy a rare Alabama error quarter unless it's certified by a trusted grading service. And if someone tries to convince you it's worth $1 million but they'll sell it to you for $50 to be nice, you should walk away. Or better yet, run right now. The market for high-grade error quarters is hotter than ever. Collectors are paying premium prices because they know these coins are finite. You can't make more of them. A flawless 2003 Alabama quarter with a certified major error has an estimated current market value of $1 million. Even coins with smaller errors can sell for tens of thousands, so if you have one, you're sitting on the equivalent of winning the lottery without buying a ticket. You might think this is all about money. And sure, $1,000,000 is life-changing. But there's something special about owning a piece of history. Coins are little time capsules. They connect us to the past and remind us that extraordinary things can hide in the most ordinary places. So when you're sorting your change tonight, remember, this could be the moment that changes everything. Alright folks, we've covered a lot today. We talked about the story behind the 2003 Alabama quarter, why it can be worth up to $1,000,000, how to spot the rare errors, and how to protect yourself from scams. If you're anything like me, you're probably already itching to go digging through your couch cushions. Take a moment to subscribe to this channel. Hit that little bell icon so you don't miss out on more guides, tips, and strategies for finding coins worth real money. I'm here to help you turn your change into wealth, and I promise, this is just the beginning. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below and tell me about the coolest coin you've ever found. And if you find that $1,000,000 Alabama quarter, send me a photo. I'll try not to turn green with envy. Where we turn pocket change into life-changing money. Now, before you dump that jar of quarters on the Coinstar machine, hang on, because today, we're talking about a plain old 1965 no-mint Mark Washington quarter that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. That's right, one little coin that could buy you a vacation home, a fancy sports car, or enough tacos to feed a small town. Stick around, because in this video, we're going to break down why this quarter is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what makes collectors pay insane sums of money for it. We'll also get into some of the quirky stories about people who accidentally cashed in coins worth more than their yearly salary. And I'll even share a personal tale about the time I almost tossed a rare coin into a tip jar. True story. You grab your coffee, your magnifying glass, and maybe a comfy chair, because for the next 50 minutes, we're going deep into the world of the 1965 no-mint Mark Washington quarter. Alright, let's set the scene. The year is 1965. Lyndon B. Johnson is president. The Beatles are topping the charts. And over at the US Mint, a big change is happening. Literally, before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. But rising silver prices had folks hoarding coins like they were preparing for the end of days. The Treasury said, "Hold up. We can't have this." So they switched quarters to a copper-nickel clad composition. The design stayed the same, George Washington still front and center, but the material was different. Most 1965 quarters were minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark. So when you see a no-mint mark quarter from 1965, it's totally normal. What isn't normal is when the coin is an accidental silver planchet, a leftover silver blank from 1964 that somehow got stamped with a 1965 date. Those are the real unicorns worth big money. If your 1965 quarter was actually struck on a silver planchet from 1964, congratulations, you just hit the numismatic jackpot. If it's in mint state, think flawless surfaces, razor-sharp details, never circulated, its value skyrockets. Coins graded by organizations like PCGS or NGC command premium prices because collectors trust the grade. If your coin has a history, say it came from a famous collection or was part of an important discovery, it can add serious cash to its price tag. The most valuable known 1965 quarter was authenticated as being struck on a silver planchet and graded MS-67. It sold for $1.1 million, making it one of the most expensive quarters ever auctioned. Modern quarters have a copper stripe along the edge. Silver quarters look solid, silvery white all the way around. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams, while the copper-nickel ones weigh closer to 5.67 grams. A digital scale can tell you immediately. Silver has a distinctive ringing sound when tapped. Just don't go whacking your coin against the countertop, you'll scratch it and hurt the value. If you think you have something special, send it to a reputable grading service. They'll verify whether it's silver. Let me share a little story about the time I nearly gave away a rare quarter. A couple years back, I was cleaning out my junk drawer, that magical black hole where batteries, old receipts, and Canadian pennies go to die. I had a pile of quarters I planned to take to the gas station for coffee money. At the last second, I noticed one of them looked a little shinier. I weighed it. 6.25 grams. My heart started doing the cha-cha. I did more research, and it turned out to be a 1964 silver quarter, but for a moment, I was one step from handing it to the barista as a tip. That experience taught me to never, ever underestimate pocket change. Imagine being the barista who ends up with a coin worth thousands, or in the case of the 1965 silver error, over $1 million. All 1965 quarters are silver. Nope, almost all were copper nickel. If your coin is shiny, it must be valuable. Not necessarily. Many modern coins look bright if they didn't circulate much. You can tell by the color alone. Sometimes the difference is subtle. Always weigh and check the edge. Only coins with mint marks are rare. Wrong again, no mint mark. 1965 silver planchets are some of the rarest. One of my favorite tales is about the collector who found a 1965 silver error in a box of old coins inherited from his grandfather. He didn't even know what he had until he decided to get the box appraised. The coin sold for 6 figures, and that's not even the record holder. Another story involves a woman who picked up a bag of junk silver coins at a flea market for $20. Inside was a 1965 silver quarter that fetched more than $100,000. Sometimes, it really does pay to look closely. Order boxes of quarters and check each one carefully. Visit estate sales and flea markets. Old coin collections often get mixed in with other change. Older family members sometimes have jars of coins they never spent. These tools will pay for themselves the first time you catch a valuable coin. Don't clean it. Seriously, cleaning a coin is like washing a vintage baseball card. It destroys the value. Then decide whether to keep it as an investment or cash in. The humble 1965 no mint mark Washington quarter that could be your ticket to millionaire status. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and maybe some luck before you run off to ransack your sock drawer. Remember this: coins like this remind us that history is literally in our hands. That quarter jingling around in your pocket could be worth more than your car or your house. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips to help you uncover hidden treasures in your change. I post new videos every week about rare coins, strategies to sell them for top dollar, and stories that prove fortune favors the curious. If you do find $1 million quarter, drop me a comment. Just don't forget to send me a postcard from your private island. Thanks for watching. Now go check your quarters, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to find a 1965 silver error worth $1.1 million. Where coins aren't just spare change, they're your ticket to a life of freedom, Ferraris, and maybe a beachfront condo if you play your cards right. Today, we're diving into a modern treasure hiding right under your nose, the 2020 P. Marsh Billings Rockefeller $quarter coin. Now, you might be thinking, a quarter from 2020? Didn't I just use one of those to buy a Snickers? Well, my friend, if you happened to toss the right quarter into the vending machine, you might have given away a coin worth a staggering $1.2 million. Yep, $1.2 million for something you probably have jingling around in your cup holder. Stick around because over the next 50 minutes, we're going to unpack everything you need to know: what makes this quarter special, how to tell if you've got the jackpot version, the wild story behind the design, and how to sell it without getting scammed. And trust me, you don't want to miss the part where I almost used a valuable coin to pay for parking. First things first, let's talk about where this quarter came from. Released in 2020 as part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, this coin features the Marsh Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park in Vermont. The design shows a young woman planting a tree. And sure, that might not look like $1 million at first glance, but it's what you don't see at first that makes this coin an absolute game changer for collectors. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, hence the little P mint mark just under "In God We Trust." Normally, millions of these were struck, but a very small number have major die errors and ultra-high-grade conditions that drive the value into 6 and 7 figures. Number 1, it's all about errors. A few known examples have dramatic double dies. That's when the coin was struck twice by the die, leaving extra outlines on the letters or design. Imagine the text looking a little like it had too much coffee, blurry, shadowed, slightly doubled. Number 2, ultra-rare high grades. Coins graded MS68 or higher by PCGS or NGC are so clean and flawless that collectors will practically wrestle each other in the auction room to own them. Special finishes. Some examples from special rolls or mint sets have unique surfaces that make them even rarer. When you combine all those factors, an error, a super high grade, and a pristine surface, the price goes from 25 cents to over $1 million faster than you can save. Holy quarter. Check "In God We Trust" and United States of America. If you see ghosts like doubling, you're in business. Look for mirror-like luster and absolutely no scratches, dents, or smudges. Inspect the reeded edge for any unusual flattening or extra metal. But if you're lucky enough to see all of that, you just found the coin of a lifetime. You might be thinking this is too good to be true, but auction records don't lie. In 2023, a flawless 2020p Marsh Billings Rockefeller quarter with a major double die and graded MS-68 was sold for just over $1.2 million at a rare coin auction. Collectors are willing to pay a fortune because these errors are so scarce. Some estimates say fewer than 10 are known to exist in top condition. So, next time you see one in your change, don't flip it into a toll booth. A couple years back, I was at the gas station, and I had this shiny new 2020 quarter. I thought, wow, this looks nice. But I was in a hurry, you know how it is, late for a dinner reservation and tired of the gas pump beeping at me. So I dropped that quarter into the machine to pay for my Snickers. Later that night, I started reading an article about valuable quarters, and there it was, the 2020p Marsh Billings Rockefeller Double Die. My heart stopped. I couldn't sleep. I actually drove back to the gas station in the morning and dug around under the vending machine hoping maybe, just maybe, my $1 million coin had slipped through the cracks. It hadn't. Someone else probably used it to buy a pack of gum. That was the day I promised myself I'd never spend another quarter without taking a good look first. Keep it in a protective holder or flip. Send it to PCGS or NGC, the big leagues of coin grading. Use reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, or consult a professional dealer. Sell it to someone who slides into your DMs offering to pay you in gift cards. 2004 Wisconsin Extra Leaf Quarter, 1999 Delaware Spitting Horse, 1970 S-Proof Washington Quarter Double Die, 1932 D Washington Quarter. Each one can be worth thousands to hundreds of thousands if you spot the right error or condition. Alright folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the 2020p Marsh Billings Rockefeller Quarter worth $1.2 million. And some of those stories can pay off big time if you take the time to learn what to look for. So next time you're about to dump your change jar into a Coinstar, slow down. That little piece of metal could be your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins that can transform your life, from building wealth to funding your dream adventures, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode about another jaw-dropping $1 million coin. And hey, leave a comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you have a story about the one that got away. Trust me, you're not alone. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last 50 minutes. Until next time, keep hunting, stay curious, and remember, your next million might be sitting in your pocket right now. Where spare change can turn into a small fortune, and maybe, just maybe, help you finally pay off that mysterious credit card bill from 1998. Today, I'm about to share a story that will have you digging through every couch cushion, every jar in the garage, and probably even the glove box of your car. You're walking through a flea market, munching on a soft pretzel, when you spot a jar marked 25 cents each. You fish out a Wisconsin state quarter with a tiny little mark that looks different. That unassuming coin could be worth $1.3 million. That's right, $1.3 million. Enough to buy a lake house, a new truck, and still have money left over to invest in more coins. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this rare Wisconsin quarter, why it's so valuable, and how you can turn your pocket change into a life-changing payday. Alright, let's dive right into this fascinating piece of numismatic history. Back in 2004, the U.S. Mint released the Wisconsin State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. This was a big deal. Each state got its turn to shine on the back of the quarter, celebrating its culture and heritage. Wisconsin's design features a cow, because dairy is life there, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn. But here's the twist. Some quarters struck in the Denver Mint, marked with the D, have an extra leaf on the corn. Not just any leaf, a high leaf or a low leaf error, depending on where the extra detail appears. At first glance, it looks almost normal. But if you know what to look for, you'll see that extra leaf clear as day. And collectors go absolutely bonkers for it. You might be wondering, how did the US Mint, with all its technology and skilled engravers, end up with a corn leaf that shouldn't be there? Theories vary. Some say it was an accidental gouge or burr on the die. Others suspect it was a deliberate modification, a rogue mint worker adding a little flourish. Whatever the cause, these error coins got mixed in with the rest and entered circulation. Over the years, only a small number have been confirmed. And that's why the value skyrocketed. Alright, let's get real about the money part. Because that's what you came here for. While most circulated quarters are worth 25 cents and maybe a little pride, the 2004 Wisconsin extra leaf quarters have sold for thousands at auction, depending on condition. But a pristine, uncirculated, certified example recently hit a record, $1.30 million. It's incredibly rare. It has a dramatic, easily identifiable error. It's part of a beloved collecting series. It's in top-notch condition, combine rarity, historical interest, and collector obsession. And you get a coin that's worth more than a Ferrari. Let's walk through exactly what you need to look for. Flip the coin to the back. Look at the corn on the right side. You'll see the main leaves. Now, carefully inspect the area near the left stalk. If there's an extra leaf pointing either high up or drooping low, congratulations, you're holding a little treasure. A magnifying glass helps. Good lighting helps. And if you think you found one, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade it. Let me tell you about the time I nearly missed out on one of these coins myself. A couple years ago, I was helping my cousin clean out his old garage. We were sorting jars of coins he'd saved from the last 20 years. I was mainly looking for silver quarters and wheat pennies. But halfway through, I saw a Wisconsin quarter with what looked like a scratch on the corn. I shrugged it off and tossed it back into the jar. 3 weeks later, after I'd already left, he called me. Turns out he took that jar to a coin shop, and the dealer nearly fainted when he saw the extra leaf. He walked out with a check big enough to pay off his mortgage and buy himself a Harley. I've been inspecting every quarter ever since. Especially in the Midwest estate sales and flea markets, some folks have better luck than others, but persistence pays off. You'd be amazed how often these rarities slip under the radar. If you're lucky enough to find one, here's what to do. No polishing or cleaning. Get it authenticated by a professional grading company. They can attract serious collectors. Sometimes the right buyer takes a little time. Selling $1 million coin is not the same as posting it on Facebook Marketplace. You want serious, reputable offers. 2005 Minnesota Extra Tree Quarter, 1999 Delaware Spitting Horse Quarter, 2004 Iowa State Quarter with a double die, 1970s Washington Quarter struck on a Canadian coin. Each has its own unique story and can fetch thousands. Let's be honest. Hunting for rare coins is part detective work, part treasure hunt, and part history lesson, and unlike a lot of hobbies, this one could actually pay you back in huge dividends. Plus, it gives you a great excuse to carry around a magnifying glass and look like Sherlock Holmes while you inspect your spare change. Wisconsin was the 30th state admitted to the Union. The quarter's design was chosen after a statewide competition. Some conspiracy theorists believe the extra leaf was a protest against corporate agriculture. The most famous example of this error was discovered in a bankroll in Denver. The 2004 Wisconsin quarter. An unassuming coin with a little leaf that can change your life. If you're feeling inspired, go grab those jars of coins and start searching. You never know, your $1 million payday might be waiting right in your kitchen drawer. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'm always here to bring you more tips, stories, and strategies to turn coins into cash. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who could use a little extra luck. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Ever heard the saying, one man's pocket change is another man's $1 million payday? Well, buckle up, because today I'm about to prove that's not just a catchy phrase, it's a golden opportunity jingling right under your couch cushions. Imagine you're digging in your old piggy bank, half expecting a few dusty quarters and maybe a button or two, and bam, you find a coin that's worth more than a Lamborghini. Today, we're talking about one unassuming little beauty, the 2000p South Carolina quarter. Sounds ordinary, right? Wrong. This coin is currently fetching a jaw-dropping $1.4 million on the market. That's right, if you've got one, you're basically sitting on the down payment for a mansion or a lifetime supply of tacos, whichever you prefer. In this video, we're going to break down exactly why this quarter is worth a fortune, how to spot one in the wild, and how you can turn your spare change into serious cash. So grab your magnifying glass, pour yourself some coffee, and let's dive deep into this coin collecting adventure. Let's kick things off with a bit of background. Back in 2000, the U.S. Mint released the South Carolina State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a series that had everyone from your grandma to your next-door neighbor hoarding coins in coffee cans. But what makes this particular South Carolina quarter, minted in Philadelphia and marked with that little P, so special? It's not just nostalgia. It's the combination of rarity, demand, and unique minting quirks that set this coin apart from the millions of others minted that year. And now, before you sprint to your sock drawer, let's go over the key characteristics you need to look for. On the front, you'll see George Washington, looking stoic as ever. The date 2000 is stamped below, and the little P mint mark sits to the right. On the back, there's the outline of South Carolina with a star where the capital, Columbia, is. There's also a Carolina wren, a yellow jessamine flower, and a palmetto tree. A whole little nature diorama right on your coin. To command $1 million+ price tag, your coin has to be in top-notch condition. We're talking about grades like MS68 or higher, mint state, nearly flawless, as if it leapt from the press into a velvet-lined box. If you've got one that looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, sorry, but it's probably worth just 25 cents. And now, here's where it gets juicy, some 2000p South Carolina quarters have rare errors, off-center strikes, double dies, or dramatic die cracks. Collectors drool over these. One of the most valuable known examples has a double die obverse combined with pristine luster. That's the stuff $1 million dreams are made of. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was helping my uncle clear out his garage. He had this big old Folgers coffee can stuffed to the brim with coins, pennies, nickels, and, of course, state quarters. I remember joking, "Maybe there's $1 million coin in here." He laughed, but we decided to look anyway. We spent 3 hours sorting them out, and while we didn't find a South Carolina jackpot, we did discover a rare Wisconsin extra leaf quarter worth over $1,000. He nearly fell off his stool. That's when I realized this is real money hiding in plain sight. First, demand is through the roof because collectors want a complete pristine sets of all 50 states. Second, there just aren't many MS68+ examples left in circulation. Finally, the numismatic market has been heating up as more people invest in tangible assets instead of digital blips. In the last decade, the value of the top-graded 2000p South Carolina quarters has climbed steadily. The current high watermark? $1.4 million for a certified gem sold at auction. That's enough to pay off debt, buy a beach house, or retire early. Take your pick. First, pull out any state quarters you've stashed away, especially rolls or old collections. Next, check the mint mark. You want that clear P. Examine the coin under bright light or a jeweler's loupe for any doubling or errors. Finally, if you think you've hit the jackpot, get it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Buyers will not pay premium prices without certification. Once your coin is certified, you have options. Sell it at auction, where fierce bidding can drive up the price. List it through a trusted dealer who specializes in high-end coins. Or, if you prefer, hang on to it as an investment and watch its value continue to rise. And hey, maybe hide it somewhere safe, like a fireproof safe, not under your mattress, because if your dog chews on it, no grading service will help you. Confusing where for an error. A beat-up coin is just a beat-up coin, skipping professional grading, selling too soon because they're impatient. Take your time. A coin worth over $1 million deserves careful handling. If you're thinking, "I'll never find something like that," think again. People find these coins in estate sales, change jars, even at yard sales. The difference is knowledge and persistence. Anyone can do this, even me, and I once thought numismatics was some kind of dinosaur. Everything you need to know about the 2000p South Carolina quarter dollar. From a humble 25 cents to $1.4 million, it proves that your spare change isn't always just spare change. It could be your ticket to a brand new life. Before you go racing off to check your stash, do me a favor. If you enjoyed this video, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I post weekly guides on coins worth serious money, practical selling strategies, and the insider tips that can help you turn collecting into a life-changing hobby. And if you've got a coin story of your own, or maybe you've already found one of these elusive South Carolina quarters, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it.